Thank you first off, guys, for organizing this amazing event. Honored that we're the first pitch of the first day as well, and really looking forward to talking to everyone about Gather.
Yeah, awesome. Definitely amazing to have you here. Looking forward to the presentation.
For sure. Just let me know when I should kick off. You are waiting for anything?
I think you're good to go.
Awesome. So I'll start with the first slide then. There we go. So in today's day and world, advertising is the main monetization method for most websites and applications. And as most people know or should know, advertising has a myriad of problems associated with, from data breaches, it's unethical, it's intrusive. I mean, just giving you an example, when you go to, let's say, Daily Mail or something, you'll probably see more ads than you will content. No one likes ads. That's just a given. It's a broken model. It's not for 2021 and forward. A new method of monetizing websites and applications is needed. Then the cost of cloud computing is exponential. If you look at just what AWS is doing and in terms of their revenue and how expensive it is, it's ginormous. Specifically, it's worth $300 billion in total addressable market size. And that's just growing year on year. Ask any tech startup, one of their biggest overheads will be cloud if they're using public cloud infrastructure. That's not getting cheaper at all. And another thing is, when in terms of blockchain and cryptocurrency, there's a limited amount of POW miners, or proof of work miners, that exist in the crypto sphere, if you will, right? So what's the solution to these three problems that I just spoke about? It's Gather, right? Gather is a platform that allows publishers an alternative form of monetization. It allows enterprises a cheaper form of cloud computing, enterprises and developers a cheaper form of cloud computing, while giving blockchain developers and enterprises a easy way to deploy blockchains without having to source POW miners, right? What exactly is Gather as a product? It's a multi-layered network. So you see a layer 2, a layer 0, and a layer 1. Layer 0 being where you have the hardware layer, if you will, where you have, if just talking about a flow, when someone visits a website or an application that's using Gather to monetize, right, you're going to see this little disclaimer at the bottom. When you opt in, you're opting in to share your processing power with the network. This processing power is then taken and resold on in this marketplace model to enterprises and businesses for the various use cases I spoke about. For example, cheaper form of cloud computing and securing the Gather network and these other blockchains that are tied to the Gather network as well as child chains, right? So in terms of a few numbers, as stated there, that Gather as a platform is 1.4x more profitable than ads using average standard metrics and 30% cheaper than GCE. Very simple. You visit a website or application, you're going to agree with the terms of service, or you're going to opt in, provide consent. Gather is a consent-driven product specifically. And then your processing power will be used. There's no negative impact. It's the same usage as viewing, let's say, a flash ad or a very simple video ad, right? In terms of traction, our go live revenue is $354,000 per month. And we already have quite a few major clients signed on board with us. The one you can see above is an oil and gas company based out of India, a 4 billion mega corporation that's in every stream you could imagine, based out of India again. And the bottom right, you can see some recent clients and partnerships as well. Along with current conversations that have happened is with one of the world's largest streaming platforms, I would say top 5 right now, again, based out of India. And we recently signed on with a pass, or rather they provide the streaming infrastructure for anyone to become their own content creator. Yeah. So Gather is not new. We didn't start during this wave of summer 2020 or the mini alt season or mini bull run, if you will. We started in 2018, where we had a seed round, actually. We kept building. We were supposed to do a ICO in 2018, but it didn't end up working out through the bear market. So we self-funded with $200,000 worth of life savings and kept building, hired more people, expanded the team, and pivoted the model to what it is right now. We recently closed our private sale in September of this year, backed by institutional capital and the community as well, raising $960,000. And now we're on the road to the mainnet. Oh, that's something happened with the pitch deck there, but okay. So I'll talk about, yeah, talk about our team a little bit. So we have very professionals from different spans. So my career, I started in oil and gas, working in North Iraq, managing 2 bases in Basra and Erbil, while also looking after Indian operations for an oil and gas company. Then moved into advertising, working with MSL Group and Publicis Group. Our co-founder Farouk, he's pure play, a financial background, working with KPMG, Grant and Thornton, and then left them to become a full-time crypto trader. Ayan, our CMO, has about 9 years of marketing experience working with a company called Nexians, and has also got extensive experience with masternode-based blockchains as well. Udit, our COO, he's a pure startup guy. At the end of the day, in my eyes at least, building a new project, building a new business, it is a startup first that turns into a business. So having someone who has startup knowledge, metrics, etc., is very, very key. And I think one of the most key figures is our CTO, Ashish. She has about 20 years of experience working with companies like NCR, Godrej, Capgemini. He managed the cloud operations for NCR in Atlanta for, I think, 9 years, leading the Center of Excellence as well. So very, very accomplished cloud professional. And our general counsel as well, who's an SEC specialist and security specialist. Now moving on to our advisory board. Over here it looks good for some reason. So our advisory board is just as powerful because what is a team without a good advisors, right? So I'll start with Vic. Vic has worked, experienced technologist, working with companies like Oprah, Status, that as a crypto company, and been in the space for a long time. He's more on the blockchain side of things, if you will. Narendra Nag, he was the vice president of Publicis Group out of India and Singapore as well, leading MSL Group, 20 years in marketing communications, was also a very prominent journalist in India as well. Patrick, our financial advisor, been CFO of multiple companies, really understands how to build models, financial models, and let's say regulations, and the niches involved with finances and regulations within cryptocurrency and the kind of space we work in as well. And then below, I like to refer to them as our crypto strategy team. Charles Reed, Johnny Kim, and Bradley Townsend. They work on multiple projects. Bradley and Charles are also from Redstone Capital, and John Kim is the CSO of Lux, and they've been with us for quite some time. And just a basic executive summary here for everyone to see. Just what I mentioned earlier on, we're a product. We're a company that's trying to go after a very large markets, the advertising market or monetization market, if you will, the cloud computing market, with an experienced team coming with institutional capital, with access to contracts, letter of engagement signed with blue chips, Fortune 500s. And we're just looking to ram ahead, if you will. We made some mock-ups as well for some of the audience to see what, if you came to a website. We actually made it for TradeDOG and TDeFi, right? So I'll just share those. So let's say TDeFi or TradeDOG actually use Gather to monetize. This is what it would look like if you came here. I don't think you can see if you can't see my screen, you just click the accept button and then your processing power is being used. Cool. Yeah, gents, I would love any questions if you have.
Yeah. So amazing presentation. Thank you. I wasn't aware that Charles and Bradley were advisors. We work fairly closely with. I know Charles from Gem Team, and Bradley been working with him on a couple different ventures. So that's pretty awesome. I think you might be muted.
There, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Awesome. Yeah, Charles actually joined us a long time. It's been about 2.5 years he's been with us. Bradley joined us. I spoke to Brad last year. And he joined us maybe about 4 or 5 months ago. Our crypto advisory team, Charles, Brad, and Johnny, have been instrumental to us. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I wonder if they've got two on the go watching the live stream. Maybe they need to mute this live stream.
Yeah, they have the Gather Network, I think, was also watching, or maybe there was feedback coming through. So basically the volume was coming through his laptop and then over there. Are you guys
okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, so if anyone is looking to post questions to Gather, you can do so over on Twitter. I am monitoring the socials at the moment. So the 2 hashtags that we're pushing out today right now are hashtag TDeFi and hashtag TDeFi Demo Day. So if you want to tag the project, tag Gather Network, that's at Gather_network. and you can tag at TradeDOG1, and we'll be able to see your questions. I'm monitoring the socials there, or you can go to the Twitter post that I posted in the YouTube chat, which is from Gather's team as well. Make sure to like and retweet that so we can make sure that any relevant questions that you have for the team are getting answered. I do have a couple questions, and I'm sure David has some too. We'll start off with that. I had mentioned we were talking about use case, and I think there's kind of two different people that are looking at your product. There's the end user, and then there's developers. I think you're more geared towards developers, but can you maybe articulate the specific use cases that your platform would use from those two perspectives?
For sure. Maddie, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yep. Awesome. So if we talk about use cases, I would say there's two, as you said, two distinct use cases. So one of them being targeted more towards websites and applications. So webmasters, publishers, online newspapers, streaming platforms, right? So your web admins, if you will, or people who are responsible for that kind of decision making. And that's one use case or one target audience, if you will. And if we look at the second target audience, we're talking about purely enterprise and developers, right? So I'll talk about both use cases. So one is cloud computing is extremely expensive. It's one of the it's the highest cost, or if not, there's for enterprises and developers, right? One of the largest costs for any kind of tech-related startup, any kind of business in today's world, a large cost for them will be cloud operations, right? So this the decentralized cloud is geared towards them for multiple advantages. One of the largest USPs being because just the pure cost aspect, right? For large businesses, be it Fortune 500 or your mom and pop shop or grandma's cookie website, if you will, right? Wherever she's hosting it, for them, it's just a pure cost aspect. Am I saving $100? Am I saving $50? Am I saving $1,000? Whatever it may be, right? From that aspect. Then you have, for example, I'll cite the recent partnership with Laminar. They provide the infrastructure for streaming, for anyone to become their own streaming provider, right? You can come sign up with them. There's no OpEx involved. It's pay as you go type of model. However, they do rely on centralized nodes, if you will, AWS, GCP. They're basically a giant CDN. Now, that does come with its own drawbacks. For example, if you saw recently in, I believe, the US East Zone, AWS had a failure, and even Infura had downtime because there's so many nodes on AWS itself. So what Laminar is doing is they're offering their customers that come up and want to become their own streaming platform, want to, content creators who don't want to rely on YouTube, for example, they're offering Gather as another way for monetize it for users, people who aren't going to pay, let's say $5, $10, $15 to view content, right? And on the other side of that model, they're going to be using Gather for the decentralized cloud, essentially, switch to us, because as a backup to using centralized services. And then the last use case which I spoke about is like, let's say we have large enterprises, right? You want ready infrastructure to come and deploy a blockchain for whatever their specific need may be, right? So we allow people to come and fork our child chains. So what is a child chain? It's basically one child chain being merge mined with the parent chain using proof of work, right? And whatever the specific specifications may be. So let's say it's a private permission blockchain. Let's say it's a public token-based blockchain. So for example, you would have a large company like, I'm just taking a random example, Ford, right? They need a blockchain for supply chain traceability purposes, right? But they want it private. They can come and fork our child chain, and they can modify it to their needs without having to do the initial R&D, which is permissioned and private. And then other people, let's say, who are crypto developers who want a token and they want proof of work, don't want to deal with some of the newer issues that come out with proof of stake, which I don't want to go into because ETH2 is out there, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who get a little pissed off if I mention it, but they want proof of work based consensus or anti-Sybil. They can come deploy on Gather itself, or either fork a child chain that has a token and the infrastructure built in, and just a couple clicks.
Mm-hmm. So Gather is on Ethereum currently, correct?
Yes, sir. It's currently in ERC20.
Gotcha, but it's going to port over to its own chain.
Yes, sir.
So how do you plan on bridging people over? You think the POW angle is going to be exciting? I mean, it will be. People love to mine, but
yeah, I think that's an audience that's just never going to die ever. No matter how far we go in blockchain, crypto, whatever it may be, you have your GPU diehard miners, right? I don't think that's going to be a problem specifically because for let's say people are just holding the tokens, it's just a it's a token bridge at the end of the day, or how we actually how we kind of designed the swap. It could just be an airdrop. That's to be seen. I think it's still sharing screen.
Yeah, we're there. Yeah. We're live there.
I think I kind of had this question when you said it. You said you're kind of looking to be the next marketing arm for crypto in one of your verticals. It seems, I think if I have to think of a cryptocurrency that the last time I heard them brand themselves like that would be BAT token. They're a little bit more for content creators, but they also have a marketing aspect to them. They've been around for a very long time. They have acquired market share for everyone community. How do you view yourself as a marketing juggernaut in terms of token utility?
I think that question, I kind of want to split it up if that's cool, Maddie.
Yeah, that's fine.
One aspect. So the thing is, if you look at the use case where it's about providing an alternative form of monetization for websites and applications, the majority of that audience is not crypto based. So when they come and use Gather, when they monetize with Gather, and they want to pay out, they want to receive their revenue, their money, right? They're going to be exposed to cryptocurrency for the first time ever in their lives, be it Bitcoin, be it Gather, be it whatever the tokens we've added as a payout method. For example, we have Crimea, we have DIA, Ethereum, Decenter, and Ethereum will be there as well. That would be their first ever experience. So as a marketing arm for crypto itself, I think that's extremely powerful. Taking a use case that's from cryptocurrency and exposing it to the larger real world, if you would, out of our own echo chamber, is very powerful, right? Especially if you're doing it in a way, because I think this is very important. What I'm about to say is that you don't expose them to cryptocurrency directly. You just the narrative needs to be on focus on the problem, which is an alternative form of monetization, and then let them experience the cryptocurrency payouts on their own, right? Let them have their first ever experience. I think that friction needs to be removed, and I believe the way we're going about it will solve that. And coming to the other part of your question, Maddie, could you repeat it? Sorry.
I think maybe it was in referring to overcoming market shareholders like BAT and others.
For sure. I think answering that question, it's more about initial target audiences. So we go for low-lying fruits in terms of the primary use case of alternative form of monetization. We look at India, we look at Africa, we look at China, because the market share of BAT, while it's quite big compared to the traditional advertising world, which is about $300 billion or $312 billion per year, it's a small share of the large chunk of the pie, right? So going after these markets such as Africa, India, and China, we're not going to hit them head on yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah. So it's a small chunk of the bigger pie, but it seems that at least until now, and I think we'll see that change over the next 4-year cycle, that when it comes to products and dApps and stuff like that, blockchain has had a difficult time breaking through the mainstream adoption in the business world. We see integration happening, but a lot of these startups have a difficult hurdle to overcome. Where do you see yourself making that breakthrough where others have failed? 100%.
The biggest, the fastest route of adoption is the alternative form of monetization, hands down. Like, just giving you, numbers talk. We spent $2,740 roughly to acquire 250 odd websites or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that customer acquisition cost is extremely low, and these are very large sessions as well. Not counting, people we go meet one-to-one, etc. I feel that's the easiest road for adoption going forward, 100%.
Yeah, I think I saw.
Because it's a very, very. Sorry, go on, Maddie. My bad.
No, I was gonna say I think I actually was watching some entrepreneurial stuff from Tai Lopez, and he's been very active in terms of acquiring online websites that used to have branding but have now been facing hard times due to the COVID economy, if you want to call it that. And I forget some of the big names. He just actually did a big auction, I think, for a major website, and they're basically rebranding them, lowering their costs. So you're going through an acquisition phase right now. You have 150 websites that you've acquired. Tell me a little bit more about that go-to-market strategy.
For sure. The exact count roughly is about 340 or 50 odd websites that are there signed up with us already. The go-to-market strategy, we need to establish certain distribution centers within Africa, within India and China. So India, we already have a good foot in the ground, if you will. Africa and China is to be established. And then again, most of these, this may be a cliche, but a lot of our customer acquisition strategy is revolving around advertising itself, using display ads, etc. No matter how much I may personally hate them, and the team hates them, and the whole wide world hates them, they do serve a purpose, which is still discovery at the end of the day.
With this, I mean, we'll have to step into the core of the discussion, which is so you've already raised through the initial token sale. What's the kind of fundraise you're looking at right now? What's I mean, who are you addressing to in this pitch? What's the fundraise about? Just before you leave.
For sure. So we did our initial token sale of 960,000 about 2 months ago. Right now, we're just looking to gain exposure for Gather, let people know, what we are, what we're trying to do, what our vision is about. And then in a couple of months, a little more than a couple of months, we'll be looking to go for a Series A round, because again, this is a very large problem we're going after, and you will need a large war chest. So this is for, hey, if you are a website owner, you want an alternative form of monetization, go to gather.network. If you are a business and you need a cheaper form of cloud computing, go to gather.network. And
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely awesome to have you on, Reggie. I think we're moving on to the next time slot, but a pleasure to have you in person live from Dubai.